Anybody bring tea this morning? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Decatur. Okay. Florida. What's up? Hey. Welcome back. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Welcome back. All right. So we're talking about what I had to overcome to become plant based. What I had to overcome to become plant based. And we're going to talk about so yesterday, downtown Detroit. What up? What up? What up? I love it. Rochelle on YouTube, can you confirm that you can hear me? Sandy on YouTube, can you confirm? Give me a thumbs up, or let me know something in the chat to confirm that you can hear me now. Okay, so we had to start the chat over on YouTube. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Rochelle. Okay, we rocking and rolling, y'all. Let's get to it. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Lisa A. Smith, coach, founder of the Plant Protocol, and we're doing our next 30-day vegan salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge starting January 1st. And this is our signature challenge. And for a month straight, from January 1st to January 31, we will be escorting individuals to optimal health by helping them to adopt a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. And we go 3 steps further with this thing because our mission is to put some stuff in remission. So if you're battling something, our mission is to put it in remission. And so we also take out salt, oil, and sugar, right? And so we got work to do. So what I decided to do in the last couple of days before this challenge starts on January 1st is to do a series called What I Had to Overcome to Become Plant-Based. Now, yesterday I told you guys the thing that I had to overcome, the first thing I had to overcome to successfully live a plant-based lifestyle was food intimidation. So yesterday we talked about what it means to get out of your comfort zone and to start trying new things so that you can live this lifestyle in a healthy manner, but most importantly, in a manner in which you're not bored. Because if you don't enjoy your food and if you're not looking forward to it, you're going to throw in the towel. So today, guys, what I had to overcome to become plant-based, let's get into number 2. So here's something that happened recently. You know, as part of our 30-day vegan challenge, we have VIP and we have Ultra VIP tickets. And our Ultra VIP participants, they get a private one-on-one coaching session with me. And so I was in a private coaching session just a few days ago with a young lady, and we got people all over the world, by the way, doing this challenge. So she was in Germany, right? And so her and I were having a really good conversation. And she was telling me, Lisa, I do very well when I am at home, when I'm in my own environment. She said, but where I struggle with my plant-based lifestyle is when I go out to gatherings and get-togethers, and or if I'm in the office and they bring stuff into the office. Lisa, sometimes I have a hard time saying no to treats and things that I know I'm not supposed to be eating or that I'm trying to stay away from. She says, sometimes I have a very hard time with that. And she said something that was very key that I think a lot of you guys might be able to relate to when it comes to your health goals or even some of your other goals. She said to me, I do great at setting boundaries, but I have a hard time enforcing them. Can anybody relate to that, whether it be in your health or any other area of your life? You like start off really good. Like you got your pen, you got your pad, and you like, this is what it's gonna be, and this is what it ain't gonna be, and this is what it is. But soon as that boundary gets tested, do you have a hard time enforcing it? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes in the chat. Yes, that's me. Words Matter Love on Instagram said yes and yes. On YouTube, Alicia said yes. B. Shipman said I can relate. Sandy's okay, cool. So you guys, episode is for you. If you have a hard time enforcing boundaries that you've set, because when it comes to your health, you guys know I'm a no moderation coach, right? So if you work with me and my team to help you reach your health goals, what one word that is like a 4-letter word over here in our company is moderation, right? Like we tell you hard stop. If you got a condition, like you're dealing with fibroids, like you're dealing with obesity, you're dealing with hypertension, you're dealing with autoimmune conditions, you're dealing with depression, you're dealing with anxiety, you're dealing with food addiction. We as coaches do not ever recommend moderation. But here's what happens when our clients and our students go out into the real world. And they set a hard boundary for themselves in private. But when they go out into the real world in public, they sometimes struggle with adhering to that boundary. And they say stuff like, well, everything in moderation. Well, a little bit won't hurt, or a little bit ain't that bad, or I've been doing good most of the week. I can afford a little bit, right? And it curtails them, it throws them off their game. And so the next thing that I had to overcome in order to successfully live a whole food plant-based lifestyle was people pleasing. Because what I have found with our students is that the number one reason they break their boundary, the number one reason they cross their line that they've set, is because they're trying to please someone else. I don't know if this is true for you. If it's true, drop a T in the chat. Drop a T in the comments here on YouTube. Drop a T in the chat on Instagram. Have you found that you can set a boundary, but you typically break it for other people? Like, you get to the office and they offer you something and you don't want to be rude, or you don't want to be a health nut, or you don't want to ruffle any feathers, right? Or maybe this just happened to some of y'all yesterday on Christmas. Let's just be honest. Did you go into Christmas Day with a firm boundary, and then somebody that convinced you to have a little bit, or a little bit won't hurt, or have a drink, or try this, and you're like, I'm supposed to be off alcohol, I'm supposed to be off of sugar, I'm supposed to be off of meat, I'm supposed to be off of dairy, but you know what? They done brought it into the office, or has anybody who already identifies as vegan told the family you was going to be vegan? They didn't know the difference between vegan and vegetarian. They bought you a dish with cheese on it and you just went ahead and ate it anyway because you didn't want to make them feel bad. Like, how many of y'all are out here breaking your own boundaries because you're pleasing people, especially when it comes to your health? I see a lot of T's in the chat. Okay, so I want to give you kind of a roadmap for navigating this, because I've been a plant-based health coach for a while. And as we're coaching individuals and we're having these conversations about what it takes, what adjustments you have to make socially, to adhere to this lifestyle, one of the things that I hear often from a lot of our students is, I don't want to, people use words like punishment. Like, I don't want to punish my kids, or I don't want to punish my spouse, or I don't want to force them to do this, right? And so they feel pressure to acclimate, or they feel pressure to do what they've always done when they're in certain environments. So they get around maybe a certain group of friends, a group of girlfriends or guy friends, and they feel pressure to, like, okay, we're just going to go for dinner and drinks. I'm not going to, speak up for myself. I'm not going to ruffle the feathers. They've already picked the spot, or this is tradition. This is what we always do on holidays. And so I just want to play along to get along. And I'm telling you, that is one of the quickest ways to sabotage your own plant-based lifestyle. And more importantly, it's not even about the plant-based lifestyle. It's one of the quickest ways to sabotage your health. You can't afford to eat this mess. You got stomach issues, you got gut issues, you got skin issues. When you eat that dairy and that cheese, you're going to have painful periods that month. Like, when you eat that sugar, or when you drink that alcohol, it's going to cause inflammation. Your back going to hurt. Your joints going to ache. You're going to be up all night. Your brain you're going to have hyperactivity. It's going to compromise your mental clarity, and you still eat the mess. You still drink the mess, all in the name of people pleasing. This will not work for you if you want to have success in this 30-day vegan challenge. The people pleasing has to be shut down. If you are someone who has traditionally a challenge with people pleasing, listen to me very closely. Your current health status is where it is because you've been trying to please people. It is going to escalate and potentially go further and potentially reach a point of no return if you don't get this people pleasing out of your system. I have seen it over and over and over again with our students. They do really well when they're by themselves. They do really well when they're on their own time. They do really well when they're on their own schedule. As soon as they get to the office party, honey, as soon as they get to the holiday dinner, as soon as they get to dinner or to the conference with friends and families and colleagues, they throw the whole boundary away. They throw the whole plan away. They throw the whole protocol away. Honey, they forget my name. Coach Lisa, who is that? Like y'all just get amnesia when it's time to people please. I was doing what challenge? Where? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do because I'm sick of the amnesia. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This is what I want you to meditate on for the next several days before this challenge starts. All right. I need you to pray. Now, so here's where people go wrong with their prayer. Most people pray for not for the option not to be there. Like don't let there be any junk when I get over here, or don't let there be any alcohol. Please don't bring no sugar into the office, y'all. Like don't bring. But that's the prayer we need to be praying for is for God to take away the temptation, because the option is going to always be there. I don't care where you go in the world. When you live in a plant-based lifestyle, you're going to be a minority. If you're a whole food plant-based vegan, you're going to be a minority. If you're a clean whole food plant-based vegan, you're going to be a minority of a minority. Okay, if you're not willing to eat the fast junk food that is vegan, but you want to eat clean as a vegan so that you can get your health together, you're going to be a minority of a minority. And the thing that I need you to pray for is to take the temptation away, so that when you're presented with the dessert, when you're presented with the candy, when you're presented with the alcohol, when you're presented with the chips and the salty, oily snacks that you're trying to stay away from in this season, you're not tempted. He's not going to take away the temptation. You take away the temptation. You want him to take away the desire, is the way I should have put it. Pray for the desire to be taken away, because the temptation is going to be there. Like the fast food going to be there. When you go to the restaurant, the French fries going to be there. Like that's just too big of a just pray for the temptation, for the desire. So you got the temptation, pray for the desire to be taken away. You guys see what I'm saying? Because you guys think that, you still operate, a lot of you, with this a little bit won't hurt mentality, when a little bit been hurting you for about 20 solid years. You're still operating with this moderation mentality when the moderation been hurting you for 40 plus years. You still moderating with this I can afford to, or I'm not that bad mentality, when you've been that bad for the past 10 years. You've been on a medication. You've been dealing with these stomach issues. You've been dealing with these skin issues. You've been dealing with this inflammation. You've been dealing with these aches and pains. You've been dealing with insomnia. Your hair been falling out. Your nails ain't been growing right. You ain't had a healthy relationship with food in years. What makes you think you could afford a little bit? You can't afford it. So we got to stop people pleasing. We got to stop people pleasing. Because when you trying to be a whole food plant-based vegan, you're going to be a minority of a minority of a minority. You get what I'm saying? So I need you to recognize that. So here's a couple tips that I'm going to give you. I got my tea. When I go on a tangent like that, y'all, just somebody type tea in the chat. It's like, Lisa, take a breath. Just type tea in the chat. I'll know what you mean. Okay. I got 3 tips for you. I got 3 tips. Somebody, Rochelle just said tea. Thank you. Good. That's a trial run. Let me sip. Honey, your girl over here done stop breathing because I'm waxing so deep. Okay. So beginning to look a lot like a 30-day vegan challenge. Let's get into it. So here's your solutions for people pleasing. So what is hindering me, Lisa? Why haven't I been able to be successful? I'm people pleasing. I got boundaries at the crib. I ain't got a single boundary when I leave the crib. When I leave the house, it's over, Lisa. I'm driving. I pick up my girl. She said, you want to stop and get something? I'll be like, yep. Okay. So here's the solution. Here's a couple things you need. Okay. 2 of them are outside job and 2 of them are inside job. So I'm going to give you 4 things to help you with your people pleasing. 2 are outside job, 2 are inside job. All right. Okay. So let's start with the outside job. 2 things that can really help you with people pleasing. The first one is community. Here's why some of us fall victim to people pleasing. We all want to belong somewhere. It's a fact of human nature. Me, you, everybody watching. Nobody is excluded. We all need belonging in our life, okay? We all want to belong somewhere. And sometimes part of the reason we break our own boundaries, cross our own boundaries, is because we don't want to be excluded from the tribe. Now, you might not know this is happening consciously, But you don't want to be the only one not having a drink when everybody's drinking. You don't want to be the only one not eating when everybody's eating. Like we do a lot over food as a culture, right? We commune over food. We bond over food. We show our love through each other over food. And so we all want to belong somewhere. And sometimes we break our own boundaries for belonging. So, one of the ways that you can adhere to your boundaries and adhere to your goals during this challenge and beyond is to make sure we have community. Now, one of the things I love about our challenge is that that's the first thing we curate. Like you, when you come into the Plant Protocol 30-Day Vegan Challenge, you're coming into a community. I just checked this morning. We had 1,260 people register. That's a hell of a community. So, in order to feel better about adhering to your boundaries and having and adhering to your goals, is you have to go somewhere where everybody is on the same thing. And that way, there is no boundary to break. Why? Because we've all set the same boundary. Everybody in the challenge has set the same boundary, which is we're whole food, plant based, no oil, no salt, no sugar, and we're no animal products, no seafood, no meat, no eggs, no dairy. When you join a community that has the same boundary as you, the likelihood for breaking your boundary goes what? Way down. Why? Because you want to still belong to the community. So imagine having a tribe that you belong to where your boundary that you set is why you're in the tribe in the first place. That, like, you adhering to your boundary in this case is what keeps you in the tribe. Oh, that's so dope. That's so dope. So, first way to get to stop people pleasing, because you're in tribes and you're in communities where you don't have aligned goals, is to get in one where you are aligned. And now, it doesn't mean you're not going to still go to holiday dinners or events or back to the office where this ain't really your tribe in this season, right? But what it means is you have belonging somewhere and you don't feel pressure to compromise your own beliefs and your own goals to fit in with them. You have somewhere where you belong. Right. And so that really increases your chances. And then also, when you come back to the community, the plant based community, you want to have a good report. You want to be in part of the community that's like, I did it this week, y'all. I stuck to it. I didn't touch the sugar. I didn't touch the coffee. I didn't touch the alcohol. I didn't touch the oil. Like, and we all celebrating because this is the boundary we've collectively set. The power of community, where we have an aligned boundary. All right. And so it's so cool when your boundary is how you please the people in the tribe. Like, you're like, I'm not eating that mess. I'm not drinking that mess. And all of a sudden you get to please a different group of people. All right. So that's number one. That's the first way that you can roll back the habit of people pleasing, is establish new communities, establish new ecosystems where pleasing them is doing what you already said you wanted to do. Establish a new ecosystem where pleasing them is doing what you already said you wanted to do. Don't that make it so much easier? Like, it ain't nothing wrong with pleasing people as long as what they want is what you want. So it's not that pleasing people is bad. It's that we wanted different things. They wanted you to drink alcohol, you wanted to drink water. But imagine being in a community where you're pleasing the people because what they want is what you want. Psh, I ain't never even said that before. I'll be blowing my own mind. Somebody say tea in the chat. Let me sip. I just felt like that was good. I don't know. Y'all tell me if that was good. Because we think people pleasing is bad. No, 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 no. It's pleasing people for whom have set a different goal than you. But if you can please people when y'all got the same, okay, somebody feel me. They like, just sip the tea, Lisa. Okay, hold on. It's still hot. I'm drinking black tea today, y'all know. I don't know why. But that's what I'm drinking today. Okay. All right. Danae said, so good. Yes, Danae. Gas me up. Gas me up. Okay. All right. So imagine pleasing people when y'all both want the same thing. All of a sudden people pleasing don't become a bad word, so get into community where you guys have aligned goals, aligned vision. And that way you don't have to worry about breaking a boundary because y'all got the same boundary. So that's number one. Number two, The second way to, and again, we're on the outside job. Remember, I told you two were on the outside, two were on the inside. So getting community is an outside thing because you got to go outside of yourself to get that. Okay. You have to go outside of yourself to get that. The second thing, the second way that you can kind of curtail your people pleasing is I need you to bring somebody with you specifically. Okay, so this is similar to so community. You may or may not know anybody in the community, but y'all showing up at the same place at the same time and y'all vibing on the same energy. The second one is more of a personal, like accountability partner. So one of the things that we ask our challengers to do when they register for the challenge, we say, invite somebody to take this journey with you. You want to invite somebody to take this journey with you. And it really, really makes a difference. Ideally, it's somebody that's close to you. Ideally, it's somebody, who's meaningful to you and not necessarily a perfect stranger. A perfect stranger may or may not. But invite somebody close to you to walk this journey with you. Somebody like you got their phone number. You can talk on a regular basis. Bring someone with you. Now, I'm going to tell you why, okay? There is real danger in outgrowing your immediate ecosystem. Okay, so many of you guys have probably heard this before, which is you are the sum total of the top 5 people you spend time with. Now, this is an old statistic, and it still rings true today. I remember when I first started my first company in 2015, I remember our first live event was in 2016. And I remember teaching this then, right? And I remember teaching them that you are the sum total of the top 5 people you spend time with. And so what that means is the top 5 people you spend the most time with, studies have shown that you guys have similar beliefs. You guys have similar religious beliefs. You guys have similar annual income. You guys are even close in weight. Like the top 5 people you spend the most time with, like they say, I don't even need to see you. Just put me in a room with the top 5 people you spend time with and I will know you. That's how aligned you guys' lives normally are. That's how aligned your mindsets are. That's how you guys probably live in a similar size house or home. You guys have similar annual income. You guys have similar status, right? And so what happens is when you do something to grow beyond where you are, getting healthy and reversing disease is growing beyond where you are. When you do something to significantly to grow beyond where you are, if you don't bring those 5 with you, if you don't encourage them to come with you, it can create a bit of a break in the relationship. And 2 things could happen. You can grow really fast and far, and you can outgrow the relationship, or you sabotage yourself because you don't want to leave the tribe and you want to belong somewhere. And so you go back to where you came from. I hope this makes sense to y'all. Why do I need to bring somebody with me, Lisa, on this journey? Somebody that's close to me. Because if you take the steps to significantly grow beyond where you are in your health, in your business, in your spirituality, in your faith, in your personal development, and you don't bring somebody with you that's in your immediate ecosystem, you run the risk of outgrowing the relationship because your mindset then took off and they still back here, or you run the risk of sabotaging your growth because you still want to belong with your original tribe and you fall back and begin to do the things that y'all used to do together that was keeping you where you were. If that makes sense, makes sense in the chat. Y'all thought I was trying to say accountability partner just for the sake of an AP. No. I'm talking about curating your own personal ecosystem to make sure your growth is not stifled because you're so pressed about getting left behind, or you're so pressed about taking people with you who weren't ready to go. Okay. Let's take a tea break. You bring somebody with you. So here's why people usually don't bring somebody with them, like into something like this challenge. Like, let's be honest, this challenge, this 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge, it's aggressive. Okay, meaning it's a pretty intense protocol. And so Juan said, sip. Listen, I love y'all. Okay, so here's what happens. People people typically don't want to ask people to take this journey with them. Like, I don't want to ask my husband. I don't want to ask my partner. I don't want to ask my boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't want to ask, my mom. I don't want to ask my sister. Now, them your number one hanging buddies. Like, you will ask them the happy hour in the blink of an eye, but you won't ask them to get healthy with you because you're like, they will never do this. They won't do it. Like, we make decisions for the people closest to us. But I want you to explain to them why you want them to come with you, not just because you want accountability, but because, baby, I want to grow with you. I want to grow. I want us to grow into this next season of life, into this next season of our health together. And I tend to grow real fast, and I'm not trying to outgrow you. Now, you ain't got to say that part if you ain't tough like me, but you want to express to them like, I want us to be healthy together. Just do as much as you can with me, but come with me. Come with me. So ask somebody. Nicole on YouTube says, she said, I asked my mom and my bestie. Yes. Be careful with projecting your beliefs onto them. I have it happen with clients all the time. I'm like, why you ain't ask your spouse to do this with you? Because he'll never do it. He's a meat eater. I'm at the same time, they be like, but he do got diabetes. I'm like, what? No, he'll never do this. She'll never do this. They love sweets too much. They love alcohol too much. They love their cheese too much. They'll never do this. But at the same time, they obese and stuff, suffering with high cholesterol. What? But he did have a heart attack last year. What? That's the main person you need to be asking. Excuse me? As my coach Tiff would say, excuse me? So bring somebody with you because you are the sum total of the top 5 people you spend the most time with. And they are the sum total of you. Okay. And it is very important that, so that you won't run back to people pleasing them, you bring them with you. You bring them with you. So that's number 2. We got 2 more. Okay. So how do I combat people pleasing? Number 1, community, so that the people you please have the same goal as you and you lower your risk of breaking your boundaries. And number 2, you bring somebody with you, people who are in your immediate inner circle. Tam Burst on Instagram says, stop yelling at me. I can't make any promises. You bring people with you so that you guys can grow together. And again, when you grow with your top 5, it significantly lowers the risk of people pleasing because again, we all want to belong somewhere. And if we don't grow at the same pace as the people we spend the most time with, we run the risk of outgrowing them or sabotaging our growth to go back to be with them. And I'm sure some of you guys have experienced this. Y'all ready for the last 2? Who's the note takers in the chat? Okay, shout out to Rochelle on YouTube. She's taking notes in the chat. So here's the final 2 things you need to do in order for people pleasing not to sabotage your journey on this health thing, on this plant-based journey. Thank you, Juan God on Instagram. She's taking notes on Instagram. Here's number 3. Now, the last 2 are inside job. The first 2 were outside job. The last 2 are inside job. Number 3, establish non-negotiables. Now this is an inside job. Okay, this is an inside job. Now, here's what I mean by non-negotiables. So one of the things that people say when they're like on this plant-based lifestyle, they're like, Lisa, I do really well when I've planned all my meals, when I've meal prepped, when I've meal planned, when I have a plan. I don't do so well when I don't have a plan. They're like, I don't do so well, if I didn't plan for my meals that week, or if I didn't prep, or if I didn't go grocery shopping. And I always tell these individuals, it is crazy to believe that your life, your days, your weeks will always be planned. I always tell them, you didn't eat that mess because you didn't have a plan. You ate that mess because you didn't have a non-negotiable. I'm going to say that again. One of the things people do and say over and over again as to why they kept eating mess when they were supposed to be eating clean is they say, I didn't plan that week. I didn't plan my meals. I didn't order my meals that I normally order and get them delivered. I didn't cook. I didn't meal prep on Sundays like I usually do. All this stuff people say. And they say, because of that, Lisa, I went through the drive-thru. I'd be like, what? In my mind, one thing don't have nothing to do with the other. You telling me you ate that mess because you didn't plan your meals this week? No, you ate that mess because you don't have any non-negotiables. Listen to me very carefully. I don't care how planned or unplanned my week is. I don't eat dairy. I don't care how planned or unplanned my week is. I don't eat sugar. I don't care how planned or unplanned my trip is. I don't eat meat. If I get to the conference and I have no idea what I'm going to eat, I'm not going to all of a sudden eat chicken. You ate that mess not because you didn't plan, not because you didn't pack a lunch, not because you didn't pre-order. You ate that mess because you don't have no non-negotiables. Everything is still negotiable. That's why you ate that mess. I can't believe y'all be coming to me talking about. I mean, it was a conference. I went to Atlanta for the conference, Lisa, for my industry conference. And they didn't have nothing for me. After I told you 10 times before you went that you was going to be a minority, they didn't have nothing for me. And so I just had to get the potatoes with the butter on it. I just had to eat the yogurt. That's all they had for breakfast, Lisa. No, the problem is you didn't have non-negotiables for breakfast. The problem is you didn't have non-negotiables for lunch. The problem is you didn't have non-negotiables for dinner. I don't care what the conference was doing. I don't care what holiday dinner was doing. I don't care what your birthday was doing. I don't care what Jamaica was doing. You went over in that country with no non-negotiables. Talking about you ain't have a plan. I didn't call ahead, so I just went ahead and ate the cheese that they put on the salad. You ate the cheese on the salad because you didn't have non-negotiables, not because you didn't plan. The third thing you need to do to stop people, Regina said tea time. Okay, sorry y'all, she called it. Hold on. My bad, my bad, my bad. I was getting upset. Okay. So the third thing you need to stick to your goals is non-negotiables. Stop lying to me. Stop lying to yourself. You didn't eat that. My husband, my husband, my wife, my roommate, my daughter, they keep bringing all this junk into the house. And so we was watching the movie. I was watching my favorite show. And I ate some of their chips. I ate some of their cookies. I drunk some of their juice. I went, you drunk it, you ate it, but not because they bought it. They not the problem. You the problem. You don't have any non-negotiables. You ain't like everything is still negotiable. Like I won't eat it as long as it ain't in the house. But if it's in the house, I'll eat it as long as. But if it's at the conference, if it's in the office, if it's at the family, like I'll eat it long as it's not here. But if it's here, or if they ask me, I can say no the first time. But if they ask me 2 more times, it's because you didn't have any non-negotiables. Quit playing with me. I don't know how long y'all think I've been coaching, but y'all really be trying to tell me some nonsense. You have no non-negotiables. So you need to establish non-negotiables. Like you need to treat what you do and don't eat like allergies. Like that's what I tell our clients. Like when you go to the restaurant, you too afraid to tell them people no dairy, no butter, no cheese. You tell them you got a dairy allergy. What happens when you got an allergy? Like you won't put something that you got an allergy to in your body. Why? Because you run the risk of breaking out. You run a risk of dying. Like you need that's how strong your non-negotiables need to be. Like I'm allergic to eating mess. I'm allergic to sugar. Like I'm alert. It's foolishness. So you need to establish non-negotiables and stop making up excuses as to why you're pleasing everybody else, but displeasing yourself. You don't have any non-negotiables. You're not firm on that thing. You need to be crystal clear. Like, you know what? I was crystal clear. Like donuts was my favorite thing when I ate sugar. I knew when I ate sugar, my back was going to hurt. You need to be solid about that. Like I can't afford this back pain that I'm gonna experience for the next 3 days when I eat this. I can't afford another painful period this month. I can't afford these stomach issues. Like it needs to hurt that bad. If that's what it takes to establish a non-negotiable, listen. Tam Bursa said, an allergic mindset, period. What's the EpiPen for your non-negotiables? You know, the EpiPen is the non-negotiable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't afford to eat the mess. I can't afford to put the mess in my body. You keep people pleasing because you have no non-negotiables. And let me tell you something about non-negotiables. This is so dope. You establish a non-negotiable. Like this is what non-negotiable, guys, is a principle that you've established for yourself in your life. It's a principle. It's a principle. Like we don't break our principles. Like I don't eat sugar. It's a principle. Like I pray and meditate every day. I exercise every day. It's a principle. I keep a clean home because that's what makes me happy. It's a principle. I don't break my non-negotiables. I don't break my principles in my life. And let me tell you what's so cool about having principles and non-negotiables is that once people learn who you are, you teach people who you are by having principles. And when they learn who you are through your principles that you always exude privately and publicly, they begin to adhere to your principles without you having to say anything. So what happens? On Thanksgiving, I was home for Thanksgiving, and my mom's like, Lise, I made some sweet potato pie, but I ain't put no, I know you. I know your principle. And so I sweetened it with dates, Lisa. It's no brown sugar in there, it's no maple syrup in there, it's no, I sweeten, right? When you have a principle, the non-negotiable is not just for you. It's to teach people how to treat you. When y'all out here and y'all, everything is negotiable, why would anybody respect your boundaries? You don't have any non-negotiables. So the principle privately and publicly is to teach other people how to treat you. Now my mom already know, Lisa, I made your dressing over here. I made it with veggie broth. It's not made with chicken broth, right? When I go out to dinner with somebody, when somebody invites me out to dinner or we're going, they're like, let's find a place where both of us can eat. I don't even have to say anything anymore. You think your non-negotiable is just for you. Your non-negotiable is to make your life easier because people respect your principles when you teach them how to treat you. I got people in my life, like they don't drink. I don't break the boundary. I don't I don't never ask, come on, just have one, blah, blah, blah. They've taught me how to treat them. And so your non-negotiables is how you make your life easier. You actually do less people pleasing when you have non-negotiables that you adhere to privately and publicly. Okay. You no longer have to, exactly right. You no longer have to say anything. Doreen said, those are the real loved ones. Absolutely. You teach them how to treat you and they happily acquiesce because your friendship or your belonging in their life is more important than how you eating. Right? And so teach people how to treat you by having non-negotiables, right? And establish principles for yourself by having non-negotiables. Let's get into the last one so we can get up out of here. Because I got to come back here tomorrow at the same time. Okay. So I got to preserve some of my sassiness. Number 4, note takers. Note takers, get in the chat. Note takers, get in the chat. One guy said that happened to me yesterday. My brother in love made my own personal meal. Yeah, you teach them like I'm not eating that mess. Like bro, you know I got diabetes. Bro, you know I'm overweight. You know I'm battling this high cholesterol. You know I got an autoimmune condition. You know I got stomach issues. You know I've been battling with depression for years. I'm trying to stay away from sugar to help that. Teach them the principle and teach them the why behind the principle. I'm telling you. Okay. Here's the final one. Here's number 4, and then we out of here. Okay. Here's the final way to stop people pleasing. And this one might be a little harder for some of you than others, depending on your personality style. Okay. So I am, I'm a pretty, I'm a little rah-rah with my life. Like what you ain't gonna do. Okay. Like I'll lay it out. I don't care. Anybody can get it. Anybody can leave. I don't do nothing for nobody to stay. I don't care. Matter of fact, I'll leave first. Because what you're going to do is respect my choices. So here's number 4. Okay. Now, some of you might have to work on this in your spirit if you really got that people pleasing deep in your spirit. Okay. The final way, again, this is an inside job one, is you have to demand inclusion. Now, this is something that we teach our students inside of Farm to Table plant-based coaching program. And demanding inclusion is speaking up for yourself. That's why it might be a little challenging for some of you. Some of you still have a challenge with speaking up for yourself. So we tell our students inside of Farm to Table that when it comes to social settings, you have to demand inclusion. That means, for example, that you guys are planning the holiday meal, or you guys are planning the family reunion, or you guys are planning the surprise party for mom's 80th birthday, or, you guys are planning the conference. One semester, I had a student who was planning her own dang on wedding and didn't demand inclusion. I forced her to go back. You're planning your own wedding and you're like, well, most people eat meat, most people eat dairy, so I'm just going to have the chef make something that's going to please everybody in the room. This woman in our Farm to Table semester, she told me during one of our classes, she's like, there's not going to be anything for me to eat at my own wedding. I said, what? If you don't, I said, your homework this week is to go back to the chef, go back to the caterer, and tell them you are plant-based and you are the bride of the wedding and you demand to have something delicious that you can eat at your own wedding. Most of us are people pleasing and breaking our own boundaries because we don't speak up for ourselves. I need you to start speaking up. Hey, guys. Now, people might not know. Like, if you're brand new to this lifestyle, and you and the homies meet up once a quarter, or you go on a family vacation or the whatever, they're like, you might have just been eating this mess last time with them. And so it's new to them. And so you're going to have that conversation. You're going to have to explain to people, hey guys, here's what I'm doing for my own health right now. And here's how I need to be accommodated. Now, I'm not asking you to pick a 100% vegan menu. I'm not asking you to pick a 100% vegan, caterer or whatever. But I need a choice too. I need options too. Right. And you have to demand it. What's so crazy to me is that we get in our feelings when we are not accommodated and we have not asked to be accommodated. You might have mentioned it in passing 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm trying this plant-based thing. And now you show up and you mad. Like, why you mad? You didn't demand inclusion. You didn't demand inclusion. And so one of the reasons we are not accommodated and one of the reasons we feel pressure to break our own boundaries and to people please is because we haven't demanded inclusion. We have not spoken up for ourselves. Here's what I do. Here's what I don't do. Here's my non-negotiable. Here's my principle. Here's my principle. Yeah, Tambersa said that can be hard. It can be so hard. That's why I'm telling you, for some of you guys, this one is going to be a little more challenging. Now, you don't have to be aggressive with it. You don't have to be mean about it, but you got to raise your hand. Nobody's going to know you in the room. When you're a minority of a minority of a minority, like every time they ask me, if I get an invitation in the mail to a wedding, they like chicken or fish. I'm like, tofu. Fuck, what you talking about? Tofu. Cauliflower. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, yo. Now, I'm not saying you're going to always be accommodated, but you will be surprised what happens when you tell somebody, neither. You gave me some choices and ain't neither one of them going to work for me. Now, there are absolutely some circumstances where you won't be accommodated. Like there's a big national conference, right? They might ask you when you buy your ticket to the conference, do you have dietary restrictions? I sure do. You know how many times I done told them people, yeah, and I show up and they ain't care? A bunch of them. But so I always have a plan B. I'm like, okay, what city am I in? Where's the hotel at? Let me get my little Uber Eats app out and I'll get something delivered to the hotel that the conference is being held in because I got non-negotiables. Right. I got non-negotiable. So it doesn't matter whether you're going to listen to me or not when I said I do have dietary restrictions. If you don't, I'm going to have a plan B. But what I'm not going to do is acquiesce to your foolishness. I'm not putting that mess in my body. I don't eat that. And that's my personal principle. That's my personal non-negotiable. And so you guys have to start speaking up for yourself. You have to demand inclusion. When you're planning the dinner with the homies, the game night with the homies, hey guys, I need somebody to bring some hummus, some pita, something I can eat. I don't eat all of that. Now, also remember, demand inclusion, but here's the flip side of that. Create inclusion. Demand inclusion and create inclusion, which means you also get to bring stuff to the party and bring enough for everybody. Don't just bring your own personal meal, but bring enough for everybody. You'll be surprised how many people will eat some vegan snacks, a vegan dish, especially if they didn't know it was vegan. Oh, this slap. What is this? My vegan plant-based burgers. You ain't even know. You'll be surprised how many people will eat something vegan as long as they don't know it's vegan because people are weird. As soon as they hear vegan or plant-based, in their mind, that equals not good and nasty and they don't want it. But what's crazy is they'll drink a smoothie all day. Like that whole smoothie and that bowl of oatmeal and that avocado toast was vegan. Like, chill out. Stop acting like you never eat anything vegan. Anyway, tea. Hold on. I be yelling at the wrong people. So don't just demand inclusion, create inclusion, right? Because one way you can stop people pleasing is actually invite people to the table, to the dinner table, to the lunch table, right? Like Not the capital T in the chat. So that's one of the ways that you can do that is you speak up for yourself, but also you start bringing things and you pick the place sometimes. Like I love when like I have friends that reach out to me from time to time, like, hey, Lisa, I'm gonna be in town. Let's do lunch. Let's do whatever. And I'll take control. And I'm like, bet I'll pick the place. And I'll pick a place that I know has a menu for me and a menu for them. Or sometimes what happens when you ban inclusion is people will be like, let's just go where you like. I want to see what you eat. I actually want to try what you're trying. Like I'm down for a plant-based pizza. I'm down for whatever, Mediterranean food. I want to try the falafel bowl. Like I want what you got getting. I was out to lunch with somebody the other day and I'm giving my order. They ordered the exact same thing I ordered. Like I want to try this too. So don't just demand inclusion, create inclusion. Okay. But you got to speak up for yourself. Stop thinking that as soon as you make a lifestyle change, the whole world is going to accommodate you. They're not. They're not. The world is not going to accommodate you. Right. And so you have to make sure that you do your part to make sure people know what you need. Travis just requested to be in my video. Was that a mistake? Or are you about to come on for real and share? Let me know because I'll let you up on the stage. So does that make sense, y'all? Does that make sense? Like we got to stop people pleasing in order to successfully run this thing up. In order to successfully survive the 30-day vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge, you want to do your part, but you got to stop people pleasing. So yesterday I told you the thing I had to overcome to become plant-based was food intimidation. Today I told you it's people pleasing. You want to stop people pleasing because that will sabotage your whole journey. What was your biggest takeaway from today? What was your biggest takeaway from today? Let me hear it. Let me hear it. Y'all know the fee for free. I come on here, I wax deep for y'all, I give y'all all my nuggets for free. But the fee for free is that you got to tell me what resonated with you. What resonated with you? That's the fee for free. Tell me your biggest takeaway. Tell me your biggest takeaway. Let me hear it. Jamaica said demand inclusion. Words matter said open my freaking mouth and speak up for myself. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Doreen said community. Community. You got to have a community where y'all got the same boundary, and that way boundary can be broken. Emily said demand inclusion and create it if needed. So good. Come on, biggest takeaway. That's the fee for free. That's the fee for free, y'all. Curate my own community by bringing those along so they don't get left behind or I fall off. Wasn't that a bar, Regina? Wasn't that a bar? Yes. Kamari said establishing non-negotiables. Rochelle said non-negotiables. Sweet Butter, I love that. Sweet Butter on YouTube said invite, share, and demand. You better break it down into 3 simple words. I love it. Hey, Joya. Joya says treat your non-negotiables like allergies. I know that's right. I know that's right. I love it. Thank y'all. This is so great. Okay, y'all was listening. Well. Dietrich said, no compromise on your principles. Right. Stick to my non-negotiable. Shout out to Allison. Instagram, non-negotiables. Prep prior. Absolutely. Establish non-negotiables, demand inclusion. Okay. I think y'all got it. So listen, guys, I'll be back here tomorrow, same time, 10 a.m. EST. And I will be sharing another thing I had to overcome to become plant-based. Yesterday was food intimidation. You can watch that replay on YouTube or Instagram right here on my page. Today was all about people pleasing. I'll be back with a third thing I had to overcome tomorrow in order to be plant-based. So you guys get ready. Juan guy said, and you sipping. Listen, I'm going to be back with some more tea. But we really got to find somebody to sponsor these lives. We really got to find a tea company to sponsor these lives, y'all. Because I just love tea so much. Okay, so I think you guys got it. Like, I appreciate you guys so much for being here. I'm going to hop off now. See you back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. EST. Again, this is prep for our 30-day vegan challenge that's starting on January 1st. If you're not registered and you want to join us, then on Instagram, just DM me the word challenge. I'll send you the link. On YouTube, LisaAngelSmith.com/challenge. I think most of you guys are already registered. You probably hopped on because I sent you an email this morning. And so you already know what it is. So I look forward to being back here. Same time Nickname Sassy. Listen, here's my assignment for you guys today. If you don't do nothing else today, I want you to go out here and eat like you got some sense. If you don't do anything else today, go out here and eat like you got some sense. That's all I ask. It's a small ask, a tiny ask. Just eat like you got some sense. Your body, your mind, and your goals will thank you. All right, y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Bye, y'all.